this is a once-in-a-lifetime case. Most detectives will work a 20-year career and never have a case this complicated, and so you can't anticipate what's going to become important during trial. What will be important to the prosecution.
For the first time since the Crystal Rogers case ended in 3 convictions and 3 prison sentences, we are sitting down with the lead detective who was there for the crucial days of the investigation. Thanks for joining us here for Wave News at 6. I'm Brian Schlonsky. Myra's off this evening. Detective Jon Snow's work on the Bardstown mother's case for almost 5 years before his retirement paved the way for prosecution. He spoke with Wave News reporter Lena Oakes, who has a detailed look at the investigation and its impact.
Well, this was no ordinary case for Detective Snow, and he knew that from the very beginning when he was on the Bluegrass Parkway in July of 2015, staring at Crystal Rogers' car, and things just were not adding up. It really didn't take long until it went from a missing persons case to a possible homicide, and it started with his July 8th interview with Rogers' then boyfriend, Brooks Houck.
Now we know, at the time we did not, that we firmly believe that she's been murdered. And so I told him, I said, you're going to be somebody that we look at. We're going to ask you uncomfortable questions. We're going to dig into your life. Try not to take it personally, even though that's hard to do. Because at that point, we really had no idea what had happened.
Be it good, bad, or indifferent, you can't remember some things about Saturday, you can't remember some things about Sunday. That's not a judgment against you, that's just a fact.
It wouldn't be until after that July 8th interview where I really felt like he was responsible for her disappearance.
Really? That early on?
Mm-hmm. Well, the phone call, the lack of details in the statement, those are just indicators that something else is going on there that he's not telling me.
And who is Steve Lawson?
He's somebody works for me. Can you remember what you asked me or what you were after? I can't remember.
Yes, sir, I can. I called to ask you for them numbers for her house.
When that's the direction the conversation goes, 2 completely different directions here, did your mind go anywhere immediately?
Oh, the phone call immediately struck me as being set up. I mean, it immediately sounded as though there was something that he was supposed to say when Brooks called him. Whether they had decided that they were going to do that if they got questioned, but it was, he obviously had been scripted.
The main thing that came up as something that was totally different than Steve Lawson's trial was the arguments around whether or not this man, who's not even on trial in this one, was actually on the BG.
It becomes very irritating when you know he's lying and you can't say that. You can't get up there and say that he admitted to being on the Bluegrass Parkway. And you can't compel Steve Lawson to testify in this trial and say that. So you're just kind of stuck there biting your tongue, basically, and hoping that the jury sees through the smoke screen.
Is there anything that you would have wanted to know more about?
Oh, there are tons of things, not the least of which what actually happened. As Shane pointed out, we can't genuinely, definitively say they killed her by this method or they disposed of her body by this method. And as an investigator, that's a hard question to leave unanswered. Not just from the perspective of your case, but for the family that you're working to help find out what happened to this loved one of theirs. In this particular case, there are lots of unanswered questions that you'd like to see answered. Unfortunately, the only people that can give you those answers are the people who have the least amount to gain by doing so.
Now, that's truly just a small glimpse at our full interview. The full interview with Detective Snow is in this story on our website at wave3.com. Lena Oakes, Wave News.